Hey everyone, this is Black and welcome back to my channel. The Raven Huginn is one of those mechs that sit in my mech bay, not getting used all that much. At one point though, we used to see a lot of them since they were able to fire off SRM-4s at nearly twice the rate of non-quirked mechs. Together with quad machine guns, this guy could rip open backs and get out before the enemy has time to react. Since PGI's decision to scale back mega quirks, which again I think is one of the worst decisions they've ever made, the Raven could no longer compete with newer arrivals like the Assassin and Wolfhound. Even the once lowly Commando is a better backstabber than the Huginn these days. In this video we'll be looking at what's going on with the Huginn and how to make it somewhat usable again. Before we continue, just for today there's a sale on Harebrained Schemes Battletech and the Battletech Flashpoint DLC pack. People have been talking to me about Tabletop BT ever since I joined the MWO community, and I think this is a great way to experience Battletech mech combat as it was originally designed. I like MWO for what it is, but BT makes some of your favorite mechs as viable as they should be, since things like hitboxes and load weapon mounts no longer matter as far as I can tell. You can click the links in the description below for the sales, and purchases made through these links will also help to support this channel. So let's talk about what's wrong with the Huginn. If you only look at the hardpoints and JJs alone, it doesn't look that bad. You can definitely get results with 4 MGs and 2 SRM6s, and with the cooldown quirks on the SRMs, you're getting 12.1 DPS without any skills. Under the right conditions, this build will still work well. However, I feel the build lacks offensive independence, meaning that it relies on either luck or teammates to avoid getting shot. Since lights aren't meant to tank damage, they depend on their ability to evade damage altogether in order to survive. Speed is one thing, but hitboxes and size are more important factors. The Urban Mech being one of the tankiest lights in the game is a great example of this fact. So here's the Raven's biggest problem. At most angles, the torso is a wide horizontal surface, which makes it easy to hit. If you want to slow it down and make it even easier to hit, the Raven's legs are also very thick. All this makes the Raven not well suited for close range combat, since it takes damage while in a fight and when it tries to run away. Then what can we do about the Huginn? I said before in my MRM video that this weapon system is not that good, but sometimes they're better than what we had before the Civil War update. This exact statement applies to our Raven hero. To keep it out of brawl range, we have to use either ranged missiles or ballistics, and ballistics isn't a real option due to its weight. The MRM-40 though, gives us just enough free tonnage to equip the amount of ammo that we need, as well as give us a not terribly slow engine. Since the range allows us to pick safer positions, going super fast isn't as important, so sticking with XL225 is okay. As I mentioned, we want to build with more offensive independence, which means you'll need to start engaging early on in the match. Because its raw DPS isn't as high as that of a close range build, the performance ceiling isn't as high, but the typical performance floor isn't as low either, because you'll have more engagement opportunities throughout the match. Overall, this should lead to a more consistent result, which is what I look for when I recommend most of my builds. One thing to remember is that when you play this mech, it's tempting to stare at the enemy and get visual confirmation of a hit. Unfortunately, it's best to get out of the habit because it unnecessarily increases your face time by a lot due to the MRM's slow velocity. The 20% range quirk is an interesting boost to the MRM-40. With full skills, the weapon goes past 700 meters optimal range, which is even further than a vanilla Gauss rifle. However, the velocity is so slow and the missiles are so spread that it's only possible to hit stationary targets at those ranges. At least the option is there, even if you don't get to use it that much. The Heat-Gen quirks also makes it so that we don't have to put any skill nodes into heat management, and so we can maximize higher priority nodes like velocity, speed, and durability. Alright, let's get into a match. In this match, we're on Canyon Network. By the way guys, you'll notice I never use strikes or consumables on any of my mech demos. One reason is because consumables are a net negative to your C-build earnings, but another big reason is that I want to show you guys the raw performance of a build. With a couple of well-placed strikes, you can easily turn a 200 damage game into a 500 damage game. Cool shots can also hide the lack of heat sinks in a build, so these consumables don't give an accurate picture of the real performance of a build, and put it behind some inflated numbers. As I mentioned earlier with this build, you have to start engaging early on, and in Canyon Network Skirmish there's going to be some slower mechs over at Charlie 3 moving towards Delta 3, so hopefully we can catch some stragglers who are still moving, who are still in the canyon over there. What we hope to do is to sit at kind of like the middle of Charlie 3 and fire over down towards Delta 3 in the canyon, but what we see here is we get surprised. We're sort of surprised by this Banshee who apparently was AFK for a little bit. If we knew that this mech was here, we wouldn't have approached this way, because there was no real good side peek angles over at that position. But so this Banshee kind of moves further into the canyon, further away from support, so he gets isolated. Our team notices that, and we look to be trying to take him down. So you can see that, you know, the range allows us to kind of make short pokes at the Banshee. Otherwise, we would definitely be his primary target if we try to get too close. And the Banshee goes down. But he did end up drawing like 4 of our faster mechs over here, which I'm not sure if... I wasn't sure at this point if that will drag us down later on, but we really didn't need that many mechs to be there, taking down 1 Banshee. It certainly helped though. So a fast mech like this isn't the best target for MRMs, but I didn't really have anything else to shoot at, so that's what why I chose that target. I kind of wonder what happened to the light that was engaging the Executioner, but anyways, become the focus of their fire. But in this case, if we're getting focused on, we need to find some range. Might be a Lerm Executioner, actually. So we gotta go back and try to help our friendly there. So it's kind of a 2v2 going on right now, and hopefully we can make this an unfair fight. So of course, you know, with MRMs you gotta lead a little bit, even when you're that close. This LRM boat on our team is doing quite a bit of work, as you can see. As we're combating this Executioner and the Uziel there, like the enemy mechs were receiving a lot of friendly LRM fire. Canyon Network is actually a pretty good map for the Huginn because the jump jets just make it like be able to go everywhere. Our first kill. So some of the range of MRMs coming in there, but we don't want to stare at that direwolf, you know, in case if he's got gauze or something like that, like we'd be in really deep trouble. As you can see, like with MRMs, even when I'm firing, you know, way out of cover, some of that missile is still hitting dirt. You know, if I was kind of close to the quick draw over there, I might even be receiving some of my own team's LRM fire. So that's something to be thankful for, I suppose, with being able to fight a little bit of distance away from the target. My teammate decided to bug out. I don't know exactly why. Maybe he was hurt, but now I'm left 1v1ing, and a 1v1 sort of against this Vindicator. But with LRM support, I should be able to help. I should be able to win this. Otherwise, it might be pretty tough because the Vindicator is pretty has a lot of structure quirks or armor quirks. Pretty close games thus far. And even though it's 2v1 right now, I'm in a legged Huginn, and a Wolfhound is one of the best finishers in the game, so he has the correct build for the Wolfhound as well, so you gotta be really careful here. The only problem with the Grinner is that it doesn't have heat gen quirks, so it tends to... It has less DPS than, I believe, the Wolfhound 2. So he has to watch his heat. And we're able to take him down. Yeah, with the LRM boat support, with that Supernova support, I'm sure all those LRMs hitting his cockpit wasn't so fun. Okay guys, I hoped you would give the MRM build a try on the Huginn. I don't think it's really worth going out to buy it just for this build, but if you do have it, I think it'll give the chassis a new life. What is probably worth buying though is the Battletech and Battletech Flashpoint sales that starts today, November 28th after 9 AM US Pacific Time. If you've been holding out on BT, it's a great opportunity to get these games at 10 to 30% off, and it's a good way to support the channel as well. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to this channel for more content like this, and I will see you next time.